Good morning, Prof. How are you doing?
Morning, Bibby. I'm good, very good. Thank you. Look at the weather. It's been glorious, hasn't it?
I know it's like summer. To be fair, I was gonna say summer came early, but it didn't because May was just some weird weather. But yes, it is summer. We can say it is summer because it has
Well, it's
been
June, isn't
fantastic.
it?
It has been very good in the last week. So have you had anything interesting done? I mean, have you enjoyed the weather in any way, shape, or form?
I think, yeah, I mean, given the days are getting longer, it's becoming actually easier to finish up from work whenever I still get a chance to take a walk in the sun or in the daylight. It's getting warmer as well. And yeah, it's just great all around. And get the opportunity to see with the loosening of the lockdowns, of course, lots of people having barbecues and annoying their neighbors with music. And that
Wow.
been played through the night. But, yeah.
As you say, lots of people having barbecues. So viewers, if you're having barbecue, don't forget to invite me because I don't know. I think Prof hasn't really been talking to his neighbors. Maybe he didn't get invited. You heard what he said. I know in music, I would rather be there and be having barbecue in the sun. But Prof, actually, you owe us a barbecue. So please, let's have some sunrise barbecue for summer. That would be great.
Yeah, we can do that.
Viewers, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's your favorite Sunday morning show, The SonRise. If your friends aren't on here right now, you want to tell them that we're live, so they should come and join us. We have something very interesting to discuss this morning, as in like I am laughing already from within before I even say anything. And I'm sure this it would take Prof off his seat this morning because it's an interesting one. So Prof, this morning, guess what I want us to talk about? In fact, I won't wait for you to answer. I'll just get to it because I know I don't have much time. So we really need to get to it. So you said this open door challenge that has been going round. Where
Yeah, well, describe it. What is an open door challenge? Is something about praying for doors to open?
There is a meme that's been going around. In case you haven't seen it, our viewers, I'm sure you have seen it. Some of you have seen it, definitely. So this is where you have a few people in the car, maybe 3 cars or 4 cars or so, and then you have different people come around to open the door. This person opens the door for this person, and then the next person opens the door. So apparently, that was a real life something that happened, where a particular individual, I'll let Prof say the person for himself. A particular individual was in a car and in a vehicle, and of course, the person who sat in front opened the door, but didn't open the door for the person. This prominent person didn't open the door for the person, but actually the assistant got an assistant who opened the door for him, and then he then went to open the door for the boss. Like, let's replay. So, Pastor Tammy is the prominent man in the vehicle. Prof is his assistant who sits right in front, right? And I am Prof's assistant who sits in the second car behind Prof and Pastor Tammy. And then I got off my car, went to Prof's side of the car, opened his door for him to get off the car. Prof came down and then just walked back a little bit to open the door for Pastor Tammy. Hi! Can you imagine that? Do you know, like, as in...
Oh, dear. Oh, Dominoes. What is this? Yeah, I know what you mean. No, it's... I'm sure that the people that are listening to you, they are familiar with what we're talking about. And this is certainly from a very famous country somewhere in West Africa.
Yes, let's just say West Africa.
It's a very, very famous country. And, this kind of thing, you look at it and, when I saw one of those things, I thought it was a joke. At first, I started off laughing. Then afterwards, I started to get annoyed because the first one I saw was actually a meme. It wasn't, because I think the original one only had 2 or 3 cars, probably 2 cars.
It was, yes.
Right, yeah. So one person came out. So the assistant came to open the door for the assistant, and then the assistant went and then opened the door for the big boss, right? Yes. And then you had all these memes where people would pull up with 5 cars, and then they would just keep opening the doors in turn. And you look at it, it's funny, right? But there's a more serious message about it, around it, isn't there? Because I think people are making fun and a bit of a mockery of the situation where it's I don't know whether it's the people that did this in the first instance thought it was acceptable or it was just normal for them, where you have an assistant of an assistant, and not just the fact that there was an assistant of an assistant, but then you needed people to open the doors for other people in that way. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with opening doors for people, but it's all a bit of
Prof, I think that there is nothing wrong in opening the door for people, right? But in this case, there's everything wrong in it, because I am thinking, if I were to be the boss, right, and I'm sitting in this vehicle, imagine if there was a bomb coming.
What? Suddenly you will find out that your hands were just fine.
Exactly. Do you understand? I mean, like, okay, so I don't have a problem with the assistant opening the door for the boss, because of course that's the protocol, right? And we say that we should respect protocol. That's what it is. So the assistant understands that. But what is with the assistant's assistant opening the door for the assistant? I mean, like, that is like a prestigious job kind of a thing, like I am an assistant and then I have an assistant that opens the door for me before I open the door for my boss.
Oh, by the way, I think we shouldn't forget that these people we're talking of each had drivers. So the assistants had a driver. So the assistant's assistant had a driver who drove the assistant's assistant to the place, and then the assistant's assistant came out and opened the door for the assistant, who came out and then opened the door for the big boss. And all the time, all the while, the drivers were
air pollution, because in this case, what happens is, as opposed to you traveling with just one vehicle, because you need about 4 different people to open the doors for other people before it gets to you as the boss, you end up traveling in like 4 different vehicles, or even 3, and you pollute the air even more, right? It's basically not understanding the impact of what we are doing. I mean, as I said earlier, I'm not saying that we shouldn't obey protocol, we shouldn't observe protocol. We should, definitely, if that is the protocol, but protocol has to still make some sense. I saw it, as much as it was so funny, at a point, I got really angry within myself. And I'm like, this is just a waste of resource, complete waste of everything, the vehicles that they have, even the people. Do you understand? It's just so, it doesn't say well about what you are, even you as a person, as the boss. It's like a woman who's entering a place and someone wants to carry your bag. They want to collect your handbag to help you carry. You see some people, they will tell you, no, don't carry. No, I'll carry my bag. No, don't worry. I'll carry my bag and everything. So I used to joke about this. I'd say that, I want to become a CEO, that when I walk into the office, someone will come, collect my bag, put it on my desk or something, make tea for me. I mean, I make fun, I say that. But to be honest with you, I'm probably going to be very, very uncomfortable with that, because what happens to my hand in carrying my bag, right? So it's thinking about what we are doing as individuals, as a body, as a corporate body, as an organization. What is it? Prof, when you saw that, apart from the fact that it was funny, because it is very funny actually, what did you think about?
Well, so good question, right? Like I said, just like you, after I chuckled, I got a bit annoyed. But then, let's step back a bit. What I always say is this: it's always easy for us to see things from one perspective, which is ours, right? Wow. But by that definition, because we are limited beings, we're only going to be at one spot at any one time. So the viewpoint we have will be limited to that point. Perhaps if you move to another point, you will see a different perspective. Yeah. So it's a very bold or arrogant or foolish person that sits at that point and says, my viewpoint is all there is. Because of course it's not. What do I mean? Clearly, once you talk of different nations and different geographical locations, you also tend to talk about different cultures, okay, and different social norms. So some things that we may, from a different social perspective or from a perspective of one culture, we might say, I don't understand this. This doesn't make sense. Might be completely fine from another culture. So usually whenever we have these conversations, the first thing I would say as a wise person, and I guess a scholar of life, a student of life, you would say to yourself, what I'm looking at, is there a cultural explanation for it that makes it perfectly fine? Is there something culturally, I guess, representative in this context that if I don't understand, I stand the risk of completely, on the one hand, perhaps dismissing and disrespecting another person's culture, and then on the other hand, also being rather ignorant. And so for me, there are two things, right? There's the cultural element of it. I know we said a country in West Africa, and as like many of those countries which are, you know, kind of Africa, Asia, and so forth, there's a culture of respect. Respect is certainly the way the respect is shown. Okay, I'm not saying other cultures don't have respect. Of course, everybody has respect, but the way respect is shown is different. Okay, across different cultures. Even within the same country, you can see people showing respect in different ways. Somebody might come and stand and call you your nickname, and that's the way they show respect. Others may prostrate on the ground. That's the way they show respect. Others may, you know, do something else. And if you don't understand the differences, you would think that one person is being over the top or the other one is being disrespectful. So there's that. We need to understand where there are differences in culture and when this becomes a cultural thing. So I have no doubt that there is something around that, right? Which perhaps for those of us who are sitting in this part of the world, and maybe who have been in this part of the world for a long time, perhaps we don't appreciate as much what that is. I'm not sure that's the case here, though. Okay, I'm not sure if that's the case here, but I'm saying that there's a respect and a cultural element to it. The question is, where is the line? Okay, what we are witnessing, where you have an assistant of an assistant of an assistant opening the door to the assistant to the boss, right? Is that a cultural representation of respect, or is it just people wasting resources that don't belong to them? Because obviously, if it's your own resources that you're spending, you will be a lot more careful how you spend it. Right? So it's that, and I think that too often, right? Too often, people, whereas on the one hand, I think there are very legitimate cases, right, for explaining that what you may see as waste or what you may see as something strange is actually a representation of our culture, right? But too often people hide behind that to then do things that would be unethical and sometimes you know, potentially illegal, right? In some places, and there are many examples of this, right, where people think that perhaps because they are they have a different culture or something, they can do something that is not aligned with the law of the land. Okay, so that's what we're saying here. So Bibby, to your question, what did I think when I saw this, or what did that come to mind? I think that it raises a question for us as a society. When I say us, I mean all of humankind, but particularly also for this particular society that we're talking of. What does it say about a society that somebody in a place of authority thinks it's okay to do that in the public eye? Okay, and you ask yourself, if this is what I see in the public eye, what else? What is going on where I can't see it? And what does it say about the culture there, about the work culture, and how people see themselves, right? And what people see as value. Okay, and that's the thing, right? And then you take that forward and you think, okay, we're talking of somebody in a place of public servant, okay, because we're talking public servant. Now, if this was a businessman who's spending his, like we said, well, that's his money or her money, right? That's what they want to do with their money. The reason we're having this conversation is that this is a public servant.
Public money,
public servant, right? And it's the same thing. Whenever you use the word servant, whether it's a public servant or private servant or whatever, the question you ask yourself, that doesn't look like, you know, you're serving anybody. It looks like an servant, right? And I think that's the problem people have with it, because you're supposed to be a servant, but you're not doing any serving. People are serving you instead.
I think you're right, Prof. And I think, as you said, culture plays a whole lot of parts in this, because again, we are saying, is that a sign of respect? Is it respect for me to, I mean, right here, I will open a door for a younger one. If I was ahead of them and they're coming behind me, I'll leave the door open for them to come out. Or maybe, someone is trying to get off their car and I'm very close back and open it. I wouldn't even think about it as anything. But whether it is a sign of respect, or it's more of a cultural thing, or it's just resources just being wasted because it is available, That's one thing I can say. Now let's bring it home. Bringing it home in terms of bringing it to church, right? Because we see these things also. We do see some of these things, right? Where there are ways that we do things, and maybe some people, the pastor carries the Bible, someone carries, like they have protocol and as I said earlier, don't get me wrong, I do not have anything against protocoling, because it is important. There has to be order. But do you think that we are doing it in the right order that we need to do it? Or is there more that we need to do so that people don't get the wrong impression about, because it's very easy for people to say when Jesus was alive, I mean, no one said anything about him being followed by 10 people or 50 people that are not disciples, right? So what do you say to that? I know you are a minister, you'll probably get the Bibby, but yes, I mean, it's just true. It is, we see this, but I mean, it would be nice for us to hear what your thoughts are on this.
So obviously one cannot speak, I cannot speak to what's in the hearts of people, okay? Ultimately, and that's one of the great things about God, he can see the heart and he knows exactly what people are thinking when they're doing what they're doing. Our example always is Christ. And like you said, when he walked on the earth in bodily form, we were not there, we're not privy to the things that were being done. But one of the things we would know is that there are some key principles, okay? As a people that love God, we also love ourselves, love one another, and we serve one another, right? And when we have the opportunity to serve one another, whether it's a brother or sister or somebody in authority in the church, we do that with joy, okay? So I think the question you're asking is, do we run the risk on occasion of doing things such that without anybody seeing what's in our hearts, what they see on the outside makes them question whether this is what Jesus will do, right?
Yep.
And of course, like I said during one of these conversations, when we talk of the church, we talk as if the church is one body, where we have a different group of people, disparate group of people doing things in many different ways. I'm pretty sure that yes, there are places where you would see some of the things and you would not be able to tell. In fact, the story we just told about the door opening challenge, you called it, I'm sure that there are places you would go and that would be a real thing and happening, and potentially within a church. The question you would then ask is, when you look at this and you stand away from it and you put these things together, the questions we asked would apply. Everything we said would apply. You would ask yourself the question, when Jesus said, he didn't come to be served, but to serve and to give himself a ransom for many. Does what we do represent that? But I also make haste to repeat what I said at the beginning. When we talk of service, we serve one another. So of course, there's a place for us serving one another within the church. The question always is, what is the motivation, right? And we also need to be very careful when we're doing things. We want to celebrate our gifts. We want to celebrate the people we have, but we also want to be careful that we don't give the wrong impression. And also, don't put people in a difficult situation, because not only in showing love, we need to not only celebrate our gifts and celebrate our people, but we also need to be able to be in a situation where we can keep telling each other the truth and not let ourselves, by whatever it is that we do, think ourselves as more than we ought to, as the apostle said. So it's just getting that balance right. But it's a good question you asked, and I have no doubt that this is a conversation that needs to be continued.
It definitely is. Viewers, you know that we do not have enough time on this show, but as we always say, it is very important to kind of address some of these things. We don't know it all, and you guys, for those who have been reaching out to us, thank you so much. It is important that we keep this going. Let's just talk about it. As Prof said, if we identify anything that we're not comfortable with, or we feel like that doesn't really look right, thank God that we have a man of God who is so open, has an open door policy, who you can approach. But I mean, don't approach him with some, people. Let's just mind ourselves. But again, just approach and just discuss it. It is important. So let's strike the right balance. And please, on a final note, don't let us be like that meme that we have seen. Please. There's nothing good about that. Don't go anywhere, guys. When we're back, it would be our Spotlight Minutes. See you shortly. Good morning, bro. How are you today?
I'm fine, man. Good morning, guys. Good morning.
Mr.
Listen, it's
Segun
an honor.
Laniyan,
It's an
So
honor.
good
and
to have
gentlemen, I
you.
present to you Mr. Shegs.
Yes,
It's an honor
yes,
to be here. It's an honor to be.
yes.
Listen, guys. I look forward to this show every Sunday.
Oh,
It's amazing. You guys are doing a
Aw.
great job. You keep us
thank
entertained.
you.
and
Thank
fun.
you. Thank you. We
Wonderful.
try our best. Yes.
This
So we
is
do
wonderful.
all of this for you. So thank you very much. And thank you for coming on the show this morning.
Indeed. Just before you came on, we were talking about how we have regular viewers who look forward to this, and here's one of them. But also, we know that for those who look at watch the church service regularly, they would have seen you on Lighthouse News bringing the updates. And like we like to say, there's more to the person than just the face and the news. So, Mr. Segun, is there something you can tell us about yourself that those watching may not know?
That's quite an interesting question. Even my wife, she knows, but she doesn't believe me. So I love playing basketball, and I used to play basketball back in the days. She doesn't believe it.
What?
Because
Why?
of my height.
I was going to ask.
I'm not short. I'm 5'7".
You think it's because
Wow.
what is this? Is this heightism? Are you saying that? Actually, for your and her information, I believe that there have been some really successful NBA players who have been around 5'7" or 5'8". And I believe I don't know how tall Steph Curry is. I suspect he's less than 6
So-
feet. But you're in good.
You're not too far off.
That's a very good case study, man. She needs to hear this. She doesn't believe me.
Okay, so we have to get her to watch this show, because there might still be a career for you in that place.
Fingers
So,
crossed.
yes.
I don't know about that one, but okay.
All right. So thank you so very much. That's good. At least we know you're a basketballer, right? Yes, you love basketball. That's really cool. Yeah, because if you see, no one would have thought that you would be into basketball. So I agree. Yeah. All right, so you have joined for the Spotlight Minutes, and we said a couple of weeks ago we revamped the Spotlight Minutes, and so now you have two options. You can choose either. But you can't choose both in a way.
Right.
So the first option is to tell me something about you, something, or is all about you. That's the second option. So your first option is tell me something, where we give you a word. So I will give you a word, and then you use that word as many times as possible under 30 seconds. Prof will count how many times you were able to use the word. And then the second option, which is all about you, is where Prof will read out questions to you, and then you answer as many as possibly can under 30 seconds. So which will be your option today? Your choice.
The first one. Let's go for the first
Yay!
one.
That's it. Go for it.
Great.
Bring it on.
Bring it on. I love that. So you have chosen tell me something. Wow, Prof, are you ready? Because
I'm ready.
I am ready.
You're going to give him the word, right?
I am going to give you the word. I'm going to give you a word. Prof, are you ready?
I am.
Segun, are you ready?
I am.
Okay, so your word. So I'll say your word is, and then you go. Yeah?
Okay.
So your word is want.
I want to eat. I want to sleep. I want to jump. I want to play. I want to go out. I want to come in. I want to go there. I want to come here. I want everything. I want to swim. I want to dive. I want to jump. I want to buy everything. I want to own everything. I want to have it.
Time up! Time up! Oh my word!
Well, that was interesting.
good.
That was 16 times you used that word.
That was good.
How many times?
16.
16. Well,
that's a start. Because you're the first to do this, we don't actually know how good that is, but I think that was interesting. It was like poetry, but well done. That was good.
That was really good.
I was rapping.
You were, man. You need to listen to yourself again.
I know.
Well done.
But yes, well done. That was good. Okay, so I believe our viewers, you can see this isn't as bad as you may have thought before. So yes, let's try this again. So thank you so much, Segun, for that. That was really good.
Oh no.
Yes, we'll see you in service. Okay. And our regards to the family. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.
Oh, that was very good. That was good, Segun.
Yeah. Somebody heard our request,
Yes.
regular viewer, and he wanted to have a go, and here we have it.
Yes,
Somebody has done it.
That was really good. So I'd say that viewers, you should make sure you come on as well, and let's go with that. Tell me something. I think I really love it. I think I should play it one of these days anyway. But yeah, you didn't hear that, by the way. Prof, it is time for service as usual. Please take us into service.
Thank you, Bibby. Thank you, everyone, and indeed, thanks to our spotlight guests today who took the plunge and did something different, Segun. But of course, we are now going to look forward into the service. As I always say, this time is the beginning of a new month. Last time was the end of May. Now it's the beginning of June. Something to look forward to. We know this is the month of walking in the blessing. It's Communion Sunday, and we know that there is really something new coming fresh from the throne room. So without further ado, let's join Hill City, Pastor Tammy, live at the Rock Tower for the Sunday service. Don't go anywhere. See you there.
See you guys.